What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Twilight Imperium Junkies podcast. I got Matt with me here again today to continue our last chat and talk about the Obsidian.
Yep, that's right. What did the Blackrock ever do to no one?
What did they ever do? Let's find out. Matt, how did you feel about this version of the faction?
Let's see. So definitely the idea of like living the faction and, you know, making my stooges dance with the plot cards, that's a fun idea. The actual faction itself, it definitely have like there definitely are some advantages and some disadvantages, and I will warn you that it is kind of difficult to sort of like reconcile in your head like what your abilities were before you flipped and what your abilities are after you flipped. So that's something to think about as well.
Yep. I feel like there's a lot to juggle. Also, we kind of brushed upon last time how deciding when to flip is a big deal. So I think it just is going to take some practice, getting more games under our belt, and learning to trust the gut feeling that is TI instinct.
Yep, just gotta send it sometimes.
Yep. So, Obsidian. For starters, we get better home system planets. We get a 3-0 and a 3-0 now.
Yep, no influences, all resources, just we don't care about no councils, we don't care about no nothing. We're just trying to get that cash.
Just cash money for days. A fun thing, actually, is that when you flip into the Obsidian, you ready the home planets, if you control them. So it actually could be a secret way to score an objective that people think you have no way of getting.
Oh yeah, that is a good thing to note, because that is...
Yeah, a spendy. That's +6 resources right there.
Yeah, nice swanky little 6 resources you can just kind of pull out of nowhere is nice to have, especially if it's a case where everyone's looking at you like, should we slay them? They don't have the resources. They need another 6, and you're like,
Perfect.
Well, do you know?
Obsidian's coming. So that's a nice little boost you get for flipping. In addition to that, when you flip, all the plot cards are revealed. All those abilities we went over last week come into play. 5 juicy, spicy plot cards. Or however many of those you managed to achieve.
Yep, and your puppets dance.
I mean, what good is a puppet if it's not dancing, right?
Yep.
Should we talk about the promissory note first?
Yeah, this one's a fun one. So at the end of one of your tactical actions, you can spend an influence to give this card to one of your neighbors. You can use this ability even if you are the Obsidian player. At the end of the status phase, if you are not the Obsidian player, remove 1 command token from your sheet pool, or from your fleet pool, and return it to your reinforcements. So this I really like. This is something that's sort of different from a lot of their promissory notes, and that this is kind of a hot potato promissory note that you're just trying to give out to other people, and have them lose a token. So I love the idea. I love the idea of this.
Yeah, it is a really fun promissory note. It's very different from what we're used to in promissory notes, which can also be said of the Firmament version, but this one is kind of nasty, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Yeah, some things to note about this. It says at the end of one of your tactical actions. So, like, if someone has passed and you give this to them, they're just hosed. They're just losing the fleet.
Ooh, that is a very important detail to note. That kind of is messed up, because you might need to play around that sometimes to not get point blocked or hosed big time.
Yeah, no, so yeah, if the objective to have a certain number of ships in a system is out, or if someone has foolishly gone down to like 1 fleet because they're token starved and they're relying on like, well, I only have 1 in fleet, but I've got War Suns out. Like, well, no, you don't.
Oof, that's hard. That's rough. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so it is. I mean, in most circumstances, I mean, like losing a fleet isn't going to be super annoying, but it's just a fun little thing you can do to just spread a little hosing around.
I love it.
It's one influence. It's worth it just to give it to someone and watch them squirm.
Yep, I love it. I can't wait to see more of it. They're faction texts, so you cannot research these as the Obsidian. You have to already have had them when you are the Firmament and flip them once you've purged.
So yeah, the first one is Plane Splitter. So at the start of your strategic actions, you may move an ingress token to a system that contains or is adjacent to your units. This technology cannot be researched. So this is kind of nice. So if you got the faction tech in your previous life as the Firmament, and you have this, you can essentially kind of guarantee that you'll have access to the to the fracture, which is nice to have, because there's juicy stuff in the fracture. There's a planet with a point in it. There's a whole bunch of relics, and you're not necessarily guaranteed to have good access to the fracture, regardless. So this is maybe something. Maybe this is a good reason to get that faction tech.
Yeah, this is really sneaky. This can really get you that bonus point you need, and people might sleep on this. They really might sleep on it.
Yep.
Their other one, Neural Parasite. At the start of your turn, destroy one of another player's infantry in or adjacent to a system that contains your infantry. So this happens at the start of every one of your turns. This is absurd.
Wait, at the start of... Oh my god, yeah, that is at the start of your turn. Yes,
you can wipe people out. They're like a plague. It really is a parasite. This is kind of unhinged.
Okay, I clearly misread this technology when I played, because if I hadn't... Yeah, no, that's actually... That might actually be worth getting, because if you can do that, you can really host somebody. You can take all their infantry and just come in and get their planets nice and easy.
Yeah, and it's also just keeps things level for you defensively. Like, even if your intention is not to hose, you kind of like protect your borders in a sense by slowly chipping away at other infantry.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you can... you can extort people with this. That's always nice.
Love a good extortion.
Okay, pay me, or I'll destroy one of yours.
Yep, that definitely works. So these are pretty fun, funner versions, I would say, of the faction text than the Firmaments.
Yeah, no, those are definitely a lot more fun, a lot more spicy.
Yep. So we talked about their breakthrough last time. The sowing, once you flip it, it is the reaping, and basically, you place one trade good from the supply on this card each time you win a combat against a puppeted player. And at the start of the status phase, you gain all trade goods on this card, then gain an equal number of trade goods from the supply. So you will probably already have some trade goods on this card from before you flip it.
Yeah, if you've managed to get this out and you flipped it early, and getting trade goods is always nice. But I think I sort of stand by my previous thing, or my statement in the previous episode, where this breakthrough maybe isn't super worth it, especially if you can get access to the fracture through your faction tech, which looks to be a lot more useful anyways.
Yeah, fair. Not the most iconic of breakthroughs, but a conceptually fun one.
Yep.
Their flagship gains a dice for their combat rules. So that is kind of a fun buff that happens.
Yeah, no, combat, it goes from combat 2 dice hitting on 5s to 3 dice hitting on 5s, and that's like having extra to Dreadnought in the system, so that's always nice. I'd say that's a pretty, that makes it a pretty good flagship. Like no other fancy abilities, but extra hits that's not something to sneeze at.
No, not at all. Their mech also becomes pretty sweet, and you can kind of set up for a hose with your flip timing, because if your mechs were coexisting, when you flip to the Obsidian, you gain control of the planets they're coexisting on, and the other player's units are now coexisting. So it's kind of like that's mine again, thank you very much.
Yeah, style points for hosing your support partner out of Mechatol with this. If you pull that off, definitely let us know in the Discord. Let us know in the comments. Definitely mention that, because that's something they're never gonna forget. Is if they're like, oh, we're support partners, they can't take it. That guy's just chilling there, and then you're like, I've got your schmeck. I've got all your schmeck, and you can't do nothing about it. Like that's juicy and that's delicious, and I love that.
Sounds like my worst nightmare. I'm horrified, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, no, that would
Don't
be...
trust anyone.
Yeah, I mean, if you were trusting anyone in TI anyways, that's already, bad practice. Don't do that unless you're trusting me. I'm very trustworthy.
Yes, Matt. Stooge Master Matt.
Extra don't trust anyone who says, oh, we're just going to coexist here, we're from the Firmament, we're nice.
Coexisting never ended well for anyone. Let's just say that.
TI out of context.
Yeah. All right, they're leaders. So, Agent, not as fun anymore. Not as fun as the Firmament's very powerful space cannon denying, light wave providing agent.
Yeah, text reads, when a player ship is destroyed during any combat, you may exhaust this card. If you do, that player's opponent must destroy one of their ships in the same type in the active system. So that's, I get that it sort of kind of helps, but it's kind of like, okay, like, your opponent loses a ship, one player loses a ship in a combat, another player loses a ship in a combat. Like, can that impact things? Yes. Is this as useful to you as the agent you lost and you flipped? Absolutely not. The other one was a lot better.
Yeah, this one seems more circumstantial. The other one had a lot more applications. I can see this one coming in handy for weird stuff like destroying their greatest ship, or maybe even neutralizing a Warsun situation, which would be kind of bananas. But yes, I agree with you, Matt. The previous agent was pretty clutch.
And then going down to the commander, arrows hollow. Apply +1 to the results of each of your units' combat rolls in the fracture, and to unlock this, you need to have units in the fracture. Sorry, I think honestly, Rand, I think this is another downgrade, because it's like, granted, the extra combat roll or the extra +1 in the fracture is nice, but in my opinion, you shouldn't really be setting up to go and take the fracture or do that where you have such a slim margin of taking planets and stuff, where this is actually going to be meaningful.
I totally see that angle. I would actually disagree and say that the previous one might actually be more relevant in early game because of the fact that it's just secrets, and the control secrets are status phase secrets, so there's not really incentive to sandbag them for late game.
Oh, true.
So maybe it would help with some early game secret scoring, and I think this version of the commander definitely helps with late game swing, because you probably don't successfully dive into the fracture early game. I think this new format of TI and the Thunder's Edge era is trying to set up for that late game sticks play that gives you the point you need. And I think this helps with that, especially with the moving of the Ingress tokens being one of their faction techs. It seems like this faction is designed to give you a little push into the fracture late game, play around that, which is a little interesting.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is definitely an angle for this. That if you got the faction tech and you're going into the fracture, and you're planning your that's your 10th point is going to come from sticks or from some of the relics that you're going to find in the fracture, then I think that does make a lot of sense.
In a perfect world, we'd get to keep all the leaders, the Firmament leaders, the Obsidian leaders, but that's why we play Twilight's Fall.
Exactly.
Their hero, Sharsis Hollow, ready all of your planets and then purge this card. So it's an action to just everything, all your money, bring it back. I kind of like this because I think about some of the plot cards that are spend 4 resources to gain that tech. It seems like the Obsidian has reason to spend cash, and this is a little bit of a way to replenish, what goes out.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great, I think it's a pretty good hero, because, getting all your planets ready. So if you go out and take planets, say you've gone on your fracture expedition, you've gone out and you've taken sticks, you've taken something else, and you've hosed people with your mechs to get a few more planets. You can get quite a lot of resources off of this, and influence, and that's helpful. And for a faction that kind of has a slow start, with the Firmament having sort of a rough starting fleet to begin with, having a little extra boost down the line is definitely helpful. And since you've already had your hero used in your previous version as the Firmament, there's not really you don't really need to save this for anything. You've already gotten value off of that. So I think it's a good hero, and I think it definitely helps this faction a lot.
Yeah. And I do want to take a moment to shout out how cool the artwork is, making all these leaders a little bit more evil, obsidian-y, spooky. It's a very fun detail that comes with this faction.
Yeah, no, the artwork and the concept, I think, is definitely top tier.
Yeah, for sure.
One more thing on the leaders that I do want to just kind of reinforce is how difficult it is to actually remember that you've changed heroes, or that you've changed leaders. It is something to think about in this game, because I remember I got into a trap when I was playing them, where it was in round 5, and I was trying to like figure out how to get points and stuff. And I was like, oh well, I can just use my agent to light wave through and you know, sit over this planet and score that. And then I was like, oh wait, no, I've already flipped. So you do need to be cognizant. You do need to kind of like reprogram your brain to remember that you have a different leader suite than what you had as Firmament. And so yeah, so maybe definitely something to think about, and don't hose yourself like that.
Yeah, this is a very complex faction, I would say, because it's already hard learning a new faction in TI, but with this one, you have to learn 2 new factions and kind of think about plot cards and how to, you know, best optimize. There's just a lot of mechanics to be considering at all times.
Yep.
And I would not recommend it for a first-time player, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely agreed. I think if this is your first time playing TI and you play them, like you're gonna be confused. You're going to be very confused. You're already going to be confused. Like, definitely something to, don't give it a new player. Don't play this if you plan to like have a few beers while you're playing TI. You're just not gonna have a good time.
This is for brain crunching, that's for sure.
Yep.
But it's a fun faction. I'm glad we got to try them out, and I really do look forward to playing them some more, seeing them played some more, and seeing what the junkies do with this canon stoogery.
And we've always had canon stoogery. We've always had Nathan, right?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, don't tell him we said that, but you know.
Nah, he's the stooge master. He's the stooge master, right?
In training. He's in training.
In training.
Yeah. One day he'll get there. All right, Matt. Well, thank you for joining me for this Firmament Obsidian chat voted on by the patrons. Our next Patreon poll is now up. Decide which of the remaining factions you want to hear us talk about next. And I hope everyone's enjoying the league. Hope everyone's enjoying their TI lives. Thank you again for joining me, Matt.
Thanks for having me, Rand. You have a good one.
You too. Peace out, everyone.